All right, hi, we are Bazents, and today we are presenting the Chameleon, a bespoke dining experience.
Meet Amira. Amira has grown up with the aroma of spices and the flavors of her homeland. If you ask her, her most vivid memories of her childhood are of the annual summer barbecues and spending time with her grandmother and learning how to cook from her in the evenings. Through this, she's become well-versed in the language of culinary arts. Now, let's fast forward to a 47-year-old Amira Sangera. She's married, her daughter's in the Air Force, her son's in the university, and everyone is still amazed by how she is able to caramelize her onions and conjure up the feast within hours. But really, throughout her life, since the first time she grilled over the barbecue, she's wanted to open up a restaurant. Now what's holding her back is the hundreds and thousands of dollars that she doesn't have, the need to validate the demographic, menu, and location, and also the fact that she doesn't have much experience in the food industry itself. And the fact is that over 30% of the people in our community feel the same way. So this fear of failing is driving their dreams away. So we come in, we empower entrepreneurs with a tailor-made food truck that is a low-cost and low-risk opportunity to feature their menus. So through this, what they can do is, basically for 12 weeks, you get a customized food truck that is fit for you and your food, and then you can test out the food industry and see if it is right for you.
Now, before we tell you anything else about our business, here's a quick overview of what we will be asking. We are asking for funding, connections, and your expertise.
So for our funding, we have split our startup cost into two main sections, funding for a food truck and other expenses. Our food truck will cost about $85,000, and that includes buying the food truck with the design, as well as all the kitchen equipment needed. Along with this, our other expenses will cover licensing and permits, as well as miscellaneous expenses such as marketing, insurance, and paper products, which will cost a total of $15,000, creating a grand total of $100,000 towards our startup. For our monthly cost, it will cover key components such as marketing, service staff, as well as fuel that we will provide for our customers. Along with this, our packages will include a 3-month rental of an 18-foot food truck with all the basic kitchen equipment needed to run said food truck. Our package prices will vary based on season, as sales in the summer are a lot greater than sales in the winter.
So our market. So our total addressable market in Canada generates over $2.7 billion. Our serviceable addressable market in British Columbia produces $354.2 million, and the Lower Mainland alone, it creates $281.4 million. So how do we acquire customers? So mostly we'll be using social media and word of mouth, and we'll also be working with the Fraser Valley Food Truck Association. We'll also be using newspaper ads and endorsing our food truck on local apps in Vancouver. So traction, so we have customer validation through our mailing list on our website, as well as a survey that we conducted, which said 30% of people would use our product. We also have influencer validation through Cosmos and Marini Italian Food, who are interested in working with us, as well as supporters in Yale and Surrey Board of Trade.
So you're probably wondering, what's the competition like for our business? Well, first of all, we have other food trucks such as JJ's Trucketeria, Cheese Street Grill, and Taters. And the problem with these is that the menus never change, and customers have the same experience every single time. Now, there's also other pop-up spaces, for example, the 337 series in Vancouver, which is a business that allows entrepreneurs to showcase their menus for a few days in a commercial building. But the problem with this is that a few days is not nearly enough time for entrepreneurs to make sure that they would be successful in the food industry, or if they're even cut out for it. Lastly, there's also commercial kitchens available for rent, and the problem with this is that entrepreneurs have to compete with the restaurant that they're sharing the kitchen with, which is super difficult, especially as a new entrepreneur. Finally, there's fast food restaurants, which have many of the same issues as the other food trucks, as you can see. So what is the Chameleon's competitive advantages? Well, first of all, we are a local and community-oriented dining experience. So instead of customers feeling like they're just adding to the billions of dollars of revenue that chain restaurants make every year, they feel like they're helping out local entrepreneurs in their community. We also offer a real-world business opportunity for aspiring entrepreneurs, which is super valuable, especially since we allow the entrepreneurs to keep any of the profit that they make while they work with us. Finally, customers who come to the Chameleon feel a sense of adventure and freshness, knowing that they are trying out a food from an upcoming entrepreneur who could be very successful one day?
So for our break-even point, we project to break even by the 21st month of operation. And this was calculated using an average profit of $13,500 per package. And also within the second year, we plan to go and empower 8 restaurateurs, as well as by the third year, invest in a second food truck within the Lower Mainland so that we can host food competitions between the 2 operating trucks. By the 4th and 5th year, we project to expand outside of the Lower Mainland into 2 separate cities, as well as generate about $648,000 in revenue.
So our team, I'm Ahmed Abdeldayem, digital marketing personnel.
I'm Jasmine Sal, the communicative marketing personnel.
I'm Jessie Pound. I'm also a communicative marketing personnel.
I'm Jasmine, and I'm the finance personnel.
So now that we've told you all about our business, here is what we are asking for again in more detail. First, $100,000 in funding, which will go towards our food truck, insurance, and licensing. Next, connections to potential customers, supporters, and investors of our business. And finally, your advice and expertise, which will help us make the right decisions as a business.
After taking a package of the food truck, Amira realized her mistakes, she gained more knowledge, she used her skills, and with our help, today she has a successful business. And this isn't just bringing her family together, but it's bringing others as well. And the fact is, there are many whose lives we could touch with this opportunity. So with your help, we would like to create a novel opportunity that will empower our community to pursue their passions, to tell stories, and to follow their dreams. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can hold it.
All right, great presentation, and I really like the idea. I was just saying to the panel here, my fellow judges, that my father's an entrepreneur and restaurateur, and my fiance is a chef and entrepreneur. So I've been involved in 17 different restaurant openings throughout my lifetime. So though I love your business model, I think it's great. I think that there's a lot of, there's a lot of opportunity here. So I just have some questions more on the side of, the 3 months. So what, if you could speak to the 3 months, allowing someone to run their business for 3 months, first of all, how are you going to get them up and running? Because we know that a lot of chefs are not business-minded, but they're very creative. So how are we going to get them up and running and successful? And then how are you going to get them out, and why 3 months?
So first of all, we're going to have to go through a lengthy client process. And while we're going through this, first of all, we're going to be doing a background check. And then we'll have a conversation with them about the goals and the risks that they're willing to take. So through this, we'll learn about them. So how much they do know about the industry, what they would like to work on. And with that, we've also made future plans. So if we carry this out, we will take the necessary business classes in university, which will help with our knowledge. And then we would also be willing to hire a consultant and others to train the restaurateurs. Now, we chose 3 months because the fact is that an actual restaurant, it can take about 2 to 5 years to see the success. And with the food truck, 3 months is okay because it'll be seasonal months. So with that, they would be able to, by the first month, they'd be able to pick up and grasp what they need to do. Actually, also in our package, we're offering service 1 person as a service staff. So they'd also be helping them, they'd be trained. And then on the second month, they would kind of figure it out. And then third month, they'd be successful. And throughout this whole period, we're going to be doing heavy advertising for them. So that way, the word of mouth gets out, because around 46% of the people in our community do go to restaurants or do go to food-based shops based on word of mouth. So it's a lot to do, but we would be willing to do it for them.
Yeah, I think that's the one part that I really liked, was if you can come up with a way that you are running this as a business essentially for them, and you're literally letting the chef come in as the creative, I think that would work. My question was more on how you were going to do that, so that's helpful. I know you had.
So I'm curious about, I really like the idea that you're kind of helping home cooks get a leg up in, potentially starting their own businesses. So it seems to me that you're going to need a constant influx of new people and new entrepreneurs to kind of help out. So how do you find those people, and how do you kind of, it almost becomes like a two-sided marketplace at that point.
Okay, so actually what we did was we did a survey. And with the survey, we went door to door, and we had about 55 people that we asked. And out of that, 38% aspired to open up a restaurant. And by the time that we told them about a low cost and low risk opportunity, it jumped up to 58%. So actually, even going door to door by visiting 55 people, we got, I would say, at least 10 right away. So that would be our first year, and even the second year. And actually, I have an aunt myself, actually several aunts who are great at cooking. They would love to open up a restaurant, but the fact is that they don't want to put in that money since they don't know the industry properly, and they'd like a partner with that, and they just like aid. So it would help those types of people.
Thank you.
So there may be some people that after the 3 months realize that the food trucks is just where they want to stay. So at that stage, they would just migrate on to their own type food truck?
Sorry, could you please repeat that?
Sorry, just in the case that someone realizes that they just want to have a food truck instead of having a restaurant, you would migrate them out of your service and they would just have to go into a commercial service?
Most likely.
So they would probably, we can help them start up their own food truck, but they wouldn't be able to stay in our food truck because that isn't where we're targeting. So we want new restaurateurs to figure out what they want to do with their skill.
And with that also, a food truck actually costs at least double or even quadruple if you want a good quality food truck. So with our package, they'd be able to test it out, and then they would have the knowledge to open up one themselves. So hopefully if they do the work right, they wouldn't need our help anymore. But we would be willing to give it on the side anyways. I mean, why not? Be good.
This sounds like I'm just going to ask one really quick and last question. It sounds like, a pop-up model, done food truck. This is very trend newsworthy right now. So why the name the Chameleon? Why not something like the Pop Shop or something to speak to kind of that?
Well, when we first introduced the idea to our mentor, he likened it to the changing colors of a chameleon, and we were like, oh, that's a really good name because it changes. Like the business is always changing, like a chameleon. So we thought, hey, that's a cool business name.
Awesome. Thanks so much. You did a great job.